guys, lots going on this last week. I did an entire video on built handler touchless and didn't press the record button on the camera, so I have to re-record the whole thing. So I'm waiting for a car to be dirty enough to do that again, but the product worked pretty well. I just don't exactly understand the intention behind it. I think I have my own use for it, so separate video on that to come. Lots of stuff going on today. I got a new hat. You might notice that the logo was black, now it's white. And that's because I left my hat at Applebee's and it walked off. And somebody must be advertising for me now because it was one of one. So maybe one day I'll get it back. Probably not. So I ordered another Melon A-Game Hydro and had it embroidered, and it's on my head. The embroidery shop turned it around to me in a day, so that was pretty cool. It's usually like 2 weeks out. I found a new shirt supplier, so I should have some more shirts that are going to hold up a lot better. I keep having problems with screen printing failing on the shirts that I was getting from TeePublic and Rush Order Tees and everybody else that I've tried so far. So I have a new supplier. I know they're good. I know the quality of their shirts because I may or may not wear shirts all the time that are made by them for another company that I support. So those will be here this week, next week. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna swap out the wiper blades on the Honda. I like these, they're Bosch Icons. I always used to use the PIAA Super Silicone, PIAA, the Super Silicone wipers that they make. I like those a lot. They work very well. They were my favorites. It's kind of hard to get those locally. So what I can get locally, Bosch, and I think that these are the best option of what I can buy locally. So I don't know if I've ever put wipers on this. It's a year old. These are probably OEM. So there's the Icons. It's what they look like. They're kind of that new style without the metal frame. They sit like that, just like what's on here now. So do I have flathead here? Should be a tab that pops up, there we go. And then this goes this way, comes out. And yeah, these are Honda parts. So the Bosch already has the insert that I need in it. And then this cover pops off. And I should just be able to stick this through here. There we go. Snap into place, boom, done. Do the other one quick. In case you happen to have a Passport Ridgeline Pilot, the passenger side's 24, the side's 26. Whenever you're changing wiper blades, just watch these arms when you lift them up. A lot of cars look clear like this one does, but like our BMWs, Mercedes, some other manufacturers, they will actually hit the hood. So when we had the Sorrel Blue 4 Series, there was actually we were the second owner of it, but there was a chip here from somebody hitting it with a wiper blade. So got those swapped out. Like I said, the Icons are good blades. They hold up pretty well. Had them on this. I think they're on the Mercedes and on the Mini. If I'm thinking about it, I'll generally go and buy a set of PIAAs and I'll order them from the internet and I'll take a week or two and they'll come in. I like their blades better than the Bosch blades and they're about the same money, honestly. But usually what ends up happening is like it doesn't rain much here and then all of a sudden it does rain and then I'm going to work and I've got like this line on my windshield, so then I like run over to O'Reilly's and grab a pair of Icons. And anyway, these are a year old. They'll last about a year here in California. We don't use them all the time, but there's a lot of sand and dust and stuff like that. These are the factory Honda blades, which were fine. These will be better. It's been a while since I talked about this, but the Milwaukee lawnmower actually works really, really well. I think I've charged the batteries maybe 3 times in the 8 months that I've had it. Probably about that. I bought it in the summertime. But it takes the dual M18 batteries. Yeah, so this is like half of the yard that I have, and it's all about the same. So doing this, mowing both yards once a week with it, I think I've charged the battery 3 times, and it's completely filled right now. So yeah, the full battery charge will do this for 3 months, 4 months, something like that. And actually, I've never had it go dead on me. Just when it says 1 bar, when I'm done mowing, throw on the charger, it's full next time, and I just put the new one in it. I do have the Milwaukee weed whacker, hedge trimmer, and blower, and those all work well for yard work as well, so I can recommend all of those products. When I was in college, I did a lot of lawn care. I mowed like 15 lawns a week, small to big. I lived in Pennsylvania at the time, so I have a decent amount of experience with like Honda commercial mowers. I owned 2 of them, an HRC and an HRX. I owned I had a bunch of Husqvarna equipment, 2 string trimmers, backpack blower. I had a chainsaw from Husqvarna and another one from Still. And yeah, the Milwaukee stuff works really, really, really well. Could you use it professionally all day, every day? If you planned for it with the batteries, I think you could, especially the weed whacker and the hedge trimmer and the blower. You know, the batteries last pretty long and you're not using them constantly. The lawnmower is a little bit harder, but really the battery life on that's pretty tremendous. You would just need to have enough to be able to mow for all of the hours a day that you mow. Usually if you had a yard large enough, you would push mow the edges, and then you would have a rider, you know, 0 turn or something like that to do the actual property. So, you know, if you had a property that was half an acre or 1/3 of an acre or something along those lines, that push mower is more than sufficient for the average homeowner, or for me as a lawn care person to do, you know, half a dozen lawns in a day and get them done. I am contemplating building a new shed. This is a piece of crap, and it was here when we moved in. It's Rubbermaid. I can go a little bit deeper. I can go a little bit wider. But I've got this like stone on the ground, and I need to figure out, I have to like pour concrete or something and make it work better. But I'd like to do one with a roll-up door, because I have this clearance issue where like I open this door and then it's in the way. So anyway, trying to figure that out too. Still waiting on brake parts for the Mini. ECS keeps pushing back the ETA. Awesome. This just came in. This is Tarx low-VOC, which is an alternative product for use in California. So this is legal for sale in California. We're going to test this out against the original Tarx, which I still have a bottle of, and Geon Tar, which I have a bottle of too, but it's in the house or somewhere. Anyway, my wood top for this cabinet is here, so I'm going to get everything off of it, and then we're going to disassemble and change it, and we'll see how it works. So the way this countertop attaches, there's actually 4 bolts in each side that go straight up into the bottom. There's a wood piece on the bottom that's wrapped in stainless. So I've got 4 bolts here, and then on this side, the same thing, but this top drawer needs to come out. So there's like a tab on both sides. You push the right side down, the left side up, and it slides right out. Push that in. And it looks like the bolt is an 8mm. I want to say. All right, so I'm going to use my Milwaukee ratchet with an 8 and put it in reverse this time. There's nothing wrong with the stainless top. It works well. I just wanted I wanted them to match this and my other workbench. So I decided to have the person who made the one make another, and I'll just hang on to this. It's not going to go anywhere, but you can see the bottom has black wood that the screws thread into. Here's my new wood top. Give you an idea of what it's going to look like on there. Just like my workbench over there. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to grab I think it's a square bit to take these off, and then we will get this mounted up. It has these like stabilizers on it to keep it from bowing. Get that removed. Those removed. There we go. All right. There we are. Now, so one of the things you might run into if you're using a piece of wood like I am is that the wood might have a tendency to bow one way or another because wood is wood, right? So what I did to deal with that is I put heavy objects. So these are 6-gallon, these are 5-gallon water jugs, which water is 8 pounds to the gallon, so they're only 40 pounds a piece. But it doesn't take a lot. There's 120, there's probably another 4 gallons or 5 gallons in here. So 160 pounds of water sitting on top of that. And it just kind of helps to flatten it out. And once you get the screws in, the screws will hold it in place. But for now, having something on there will help you. It'll help you to have it lay flat. Because I'm going to be screwing this in, there will be wood chips that drop down. I don't want them all over my pads. So I'm just going to kind of put a towel here to catch the droppings. And we'll just do 2 at a time, 2, 2, 2, 2, so I can move my towel as I go. Again, I'm just using my Milwaukee ratchet. This is the short head one, which I don't use very often, but it works very well. That's on, screwed in. Just be careful not to drop a bunch of sawdust all over the place. Take our drawer, just kind of poke the 2, poke the other 2, push it in, out, it's all done. So we'll get this off. I had to use these water jugs on my big one too. I think I used like 7 or 8 of them on that, but that one's also 10 feet long. This one has no lid. So that's it. As you can see, it lays flat. So there you are. It's a different look, but I like it. I think that it works really well. And I've been happy with the one that I have over there, which is what made me order a second from the same person who made the first. This is kind of my upcoming projects thing. I put chemicals on here that I have to test or haven't tested yet. This is like the armrest for the Mini, which needs to be swapped out. I should do that today. There's some brake parts. So check this out. This is the Milwaukee 2830-20. It's the Fuel 7¼ inch rear handle circular saw. I just picked this up this week. I ordered it from, well, a bunch of places carry it. Tool Nut, Obsessed Garage, Home Depot, lots of other places. I ordered mine from Tool Nut. Came this week, and the thing is just incredible. I've had the 6½ inch for a long, long time. It works fairly well. I used this yesterday to rip down a bunch of 3/4 inch plywood. I did like 20 sheets into short pieces because they were being scrapped. This from a shed. So I was just ripping them down into like, 16-inch sections. So I don't know, it's probably 40, 50 cuts I did, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I still have full battery, and this thing is just incredible, the way that it just eats product. The blade that I have in it is a spider. It's a 60 tooth, it's a fine blade. I normally like the Diablo blades. They're my favorite because they have a lot of variety, and there's a True Value by me that has like literally every single one they make, so you can find the right one for whatever project you're doing. But I was at Lowe's and all they had were Spider, DeWalt, and something else. And this comes with a framing blade. I just needed something a little bit finer than that for normal. I normally run something a little bit finer than that. I'm not normally cutting down framing. I would use a compound miter saw for that typically. But this thing is just amazing. It works so well. It's super quiet. It's got gobs of power. Like, you just can't even bind it up. It's just so good. So I'm not a carpenter, but my dad was a general contractor. I worked with him for a long time. Used a lot of corded and cordless saws, and this is by far one of the best ones I've ever had my hands on. It just works really, really well. And you've got a lot of control, so you know, if you've got a stop or a line that you can work, you can almost use this thing one-handed, and it just goes because of the orientation. This hook doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's probably to hang it on a joist or a rafter on a roof, be my guess. But it's, you know, obviously it's not for hanging on yourself. My guess is that's a 2-inch and that's a 4-inch or 3-inch or something like that, for hanging on to whatever, but the thing is incredible. If you missed my video on this vacuum, this is it's like 0920-20. It's the dual 18-volt vacuum, 9-gallon vacuum. This thing is amazing. I did swap out the hose. So the hose that comes with it is black. This is a gray hose it's actually it's a Pro something or other. I can't remember. I bought it for my Rigid. I like it a little bit better. It's just, it's got a little bit better flexibility than the single hose that the Milwaukee comes with, and it's got like this 2-layer construction. It's exactly the same length as the Milwaukee, and the Milwaukee ends just kind of screw right onto it. So that was nice. I don't necessarily think, like, if I didn't already own this, I don't think I would have bought it until the Milwaukee hose eventually failed. But because I already own it, the kink-proof hose, it's just nice to have. But I did order, these are the proper Milwaukee bags for this, because the bag I have in here right now is actually for my Rigid. So this is what they look like. It is a 49-90-1989, and it fits the 9-gallon. It only fits this vacuum. So the bag that I put in it actually worked just fine. It's a standard, like a shop vac size B bag. I don't know if it filled up more, if it would have, like, everything's in there. Can's completely empty, but if it filled up more, it might have kind of dropped stuff out or fell off the bottom or something along those lines. All right, so I placed an order for the right bags for this, and it's supposed to actually clip into this bracket that's over here on the side. But the vacuum is supposed to come with the bracket, and mine didn't. I can't find it anywhere, so if I'm missing something, let me know in the comments. But I looked through the instructions, I looked through my box and my trash, still have the box. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know what it looks like because there are no pictures on the internet, but the part number is 42162700. I'm gonna give Milwaukee a call and see if they have one that they can send over to me, so that I can put this in. For now, I can put the bag on there like I did with the other one, but I think if I get enough weight in there, eventually it's going to come off, so I'd prefer to have the right mount that they recommended for it. All right, next, I ordered this from Milwaukee. This is a crevice tool, part of the air tip line. It's very similar to the one that I have, except this one is designed for the vacuum. So I have this guy that I picked up from Home Depot or Lowe's or something a long time ago, and it's very similar in construction. The length is similar. The Milwaukee's actually slightly longer, but the difference is this base. This one I kind of have to shove it in until it stops, which is like way back in here, and it kind of rocks around and ends up a little loose. This is designed for this, and it fits all 1 7/8, 1 1/4, and 2.5 inch vacuums. So 1 1/4 would go inside, 1 7/8 on the outside, and 2 1/4 goes in the big cuff. And it's got a nice rubber flexible head. The other reason I bought a new one, this is 20 bucks. The other reason I bought a new one is because mine has some cracking when you bend it. You can see there. This is a wear item. I've had this thing for probably, I don't know, 2-3 years. It doesn't owe me anything. But I just ordered a new one. This one matches. It should fit on the accessory tray on the back very well. So that's perfect. And then the next thing that I ordered, Milwaukee has this air tip line of products. So they make this case. The part number is 49902037. It's the air tip long reach flexible micro hose set. So it comes with this, this base, which is very similar to what I just showed you. It's got 1 7/8, 1 1/4, and 2.5 inch, and it just goes right on the end of the vacuum. But then it comes with these crevice tools that are like long tubes. So this one's the biggest one. It's 5/8 of an inch, and it's about, I don't know, 2 feet long, give or take. And they kind of like quarter turn and lock onto here. But check this one out. So this is like an alternative to your historic crevice tool. It's a 1/4 inch tube, and it's, I don't know, about 16 inches long, maybe 12 inches long, probably 12. And yeah, it's super nice. So it's a compatible accessory. It's made for Milwaukee, but it'll work with any vacuum. So if you have a regular rigid or whatever, this would fit right on the end of my rigid as well without an issue. So it's just kind of a neat take on a crevice tool. And it comes in this cloth bag, which is pretty nice. So like if you had a mobile detailing setup or something along those lines, you could easily put it away. So it comes in like this, you know, here there's 5 tubes in here, from 5/8. This one's 1/2, 3/8, 1/4 inch, and then this one is also 3/8, just like a 3/8 short and a 3/8 long. So there's 5 tubes in here, varying lengths, and then there's the adapter. And it's in like this nifty cloth bag with a zipper on it. So this is what it looks like when it's all zipped up, and it's got like these, whatever, like hold down points or something, so you could maybe like Velcro it to something. It's not Velcro, but you could like attach it to something if you had Velcro, or hang it on a hook, or something along those lines, which I'm gonna need to find a place to put this because my cabinet isn't deep enough for it. But it seemed like a really cool accessory that they make, and I just picked up the pack to have for my vacuum. A couple other new things. I picked this up the other day. These are Milwaukee Shockwave drill bits. They're titanium. It's a nice set, and it was like 40 bucks. And it's got, I don't know, 23 bits or something along those lines in it. It's not the normal, 29 is like the complete set. But it goes all the way up to 3/8, so it's like everything from 1/16 all the way to 3/8. But what I really liked was that they give you duplicates of certain ones that you commonly use. So like 1/16 is super easy to break, 5/64 is super easy to break, 7/64 is very common when you're using like 1/8 inch self-tapping screws. Then there's 1/8 inch, 9/64, 5/32, so doubles of like all of those very popular ones. And then even like 1/4, there's a double of that. It's really nice, like they understand the fact that you're gonna break one. There's nothing worse than breaking a bit when you're in the middle of doing something and then not having the bit that you need to finish the job. So I have a lot of these little kits, these Milwaukee kits. They work really well. They are modular, so I don't know if you can see there's like pins here. So you can actually like pop out this and you can make your own kit that has your own stuff in it, and these are fully adjustable, and that's kind of neat too. So this is something cool that I just picked up too that I wanted to test out. This is made by a company called AGM. It's called a Jack Rod stand. Everybody knows, like every car guy has at some point had a car that was only held up by a floor jack that they were crawling under and knows that they shouldn't have. But jack stands can be a pain on certain cars. There aren't good mount points to put a jack stand when you lift up with a jack. Like the Mini has 4 squares on the car, and that's it. So if you've got this jack underneath one of those 4 squares, then there isn't a place to put the jack stand. So you end up like lifting the front center of the car and trying to get stands under both sides at the same time. Some cars it's really easy, like the Civic, to do that, but the Mini, super hard. So this is a tool that is designed to convert one of these into a jack stand. So this is what it looks like. It's called a Jack Rod. It's got a max load of 2 tons, so this is a 3-ton floor jack, so it's really designed to be used for a 2-ton. But what it does is it extends and it holds the jack stand as a, or holds the floor jack as a jack stand. So we'll just test it out with this. This is a 3-ton Daytona that I've had for quite a while. It's a good floor jack. All right, so let's say you lift up your car, or you've got it up. It's up on the floor jack like you would expect, and that's where you want to work on it. So what you do is you put this here, you press this button, and the idea is that you're supposed to release the jack down on this, like that, and then lock it into place. And what that does is it creates this tripod where this is actually acting as your jack stand, and this can't go down even if there's a hydraulic failure. So it seems like a really cool product. It's about $100. A decent set of jack stands is, you know, 60, 70 bucks. I think I paid about 70 bucks for mine, my 3-ton aluminum stands. Obviously those have some versatility, but if you had 2 floor jacks and you had 2 of these, you could very easily turn your floor jacks into jack stands. That was something interesting there. It should be centered. Just make sure that when you put it in, you're putting it in vertically. But yeah, it's super cool. So I can release this and stand here and jump on it, and everything's cool. And then when I want to take it out, I can make sure this is tight. I can pump this up to get some pressure off of this. And then you just press this button and it goes back into place, and it's just spring loaded. This is pretty cool. I'll put a link in the description for AGM. They sent it in a box, and they gave me some stickers, and they look like this. So that's pretty cool too. My first purchase from them, but this is how it came, just in a box surrounded by foam. And then there's a kind of a foam liner all the way around it, and seems neat. I think it'll be nice for doing simple jobs, an oil change, you know, whatever. Something that you just want to be able to do quickly, and not have to get the quick jacks out, like the whole jack system, or get stands out and lift the car up and set it down on stands. And obviously for cars that don't have good jacking points, it's a good option for that too.